Mashar, thank you.
What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Love Coach Scott Katamas, and welcome to the Awakening World. You know, we've been doing this show for 6 years, and it's all about providing inspiration and information, just like you saw in the video. And I don't think there's any more important position or job in this world than being a wonderful teacher. Think about your life and think about who's made the biggest impression on you, the biggest impact, who was not a relative or a family member or a friend. It's inevitably a teacher. I think back to my high school drama teacher, James Raleigh, and he is who set me on the path of being a producer. He saw that, Thomas, you're an entrepreneur. I didn't know what an entrepreneur meant. But he saw my producing abilities, and here I am many, many years later, still producing. And it was really his support and his belief in me that got that going for me. Anyway, that's my initial story. I invite all of you watching, and welcome everybody watching on Facebook and YouTube, to think about who are some of the teachers or the courses of study that have really changed your life. Now, many of us probably have been very impacted by maybe A Course in Miracles. You know, there's certain books that are like the Bible of an awakening world, and the book itself becomes a great teacher, a great educator. So that might be, you know, what some of you choose to share. But for all of you watching that are in our Zoom room, pop into the chat box, and I'm going to periodically read some of your comments. We have a whole host of wonderful educators with us, and you're going to meet them right after Omashar's opening song. So with no further ado, here is our beloved house musical artist. But before you play Omashar, who comes to mind for you as far as a teacher or a course of study?
Yeah, I have a bittersweet. I was brought up in with a British. I was in a boys' school in England. It was forgive my French, sorry French, forgive my English. It was an anal retentive school that I hated. And I was just trying to go through my mind of all the teachers within my school that I found inspiring. And really, there was not one that I found inspiring. I literally have had to educate myself out of all of that rubbish that I got taught at school to become a human again. And I think one of the first people that started to pique my interest actually was Ram Dass. And Ram Dass basically opened my mind to the fact that there is another reality that we're not taught about in school. And I'm so grateful for tonight because the presenters we have on tonight are all conscious. They're bringing consciousness and divine alignment into the mouths of babes, let's say. And so that's all I have to say. Maybe I'll say something later, but I had this cloud come over me when I was thinking of my actual school and the how I was numbed and dumbed down. And it's taken me a couple of decades to open up again. And with that in mind, cast out of my mind and left in the past forever, the songs that I've chosen tonight are all about children or play. And so let's do it. Are we ready? Actually, are we sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. Another dawn, another day. Innocent child coming your way. I've been wondering about my life. Oh yeah. Wondering about my state of mind. But then I heard, who is it for? If not for yourself, how do you feel? And why do you cry, 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 cry? Shooby-doo-wop. Whoa. The sun is warming up my mind. Ocean breeze blows me away. And yet still, I've been wondering about my life. Oh yeah. Wondering who will take my place. But then I heard, who is it for? If not for yourself, how do you feel? And why do you cry, 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 cry? Who is it for? If not for yourself, how do you feel? And why do you cry, 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 cry? Who is it for? If not for yourself, how do you feel? So come on, let's fly. Come on, let's fly. Shooby-doo-wah.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. I am going to go to gallery view. Let's all send Omashar some wonderful love and appreciation. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
It's bizarre, Scott. As soon as you brought up my school and childhood, and I just realized how I was messed with, it really is a trigger for me. And yeah, interesting. And so Yeah, that's why the gratitude is for the education that's coming now, and the excitement for this show that you're about to present. So thank you.
Let's just stay for a moment with that because, of course, obviously the spontaneous, but I just want to acknowledge that this is probably true for other people watching, that for some people, when they think back to school, they just think of trauma and they think of how just it was like this horrible
It
large
was
number of
such
years.
exactly it was such trauma, and no matter how much I tried to shine, I was shut down. Every original idea I had outside the box was I was just told to shut up. And amazing. And even the one person that did come to my mind was because I'm a wordsmith and I was really good in English and literature. And and there was one time when I wrote this amazing story, and they presented it to the class, and then the class said, "Oh, you must have just copied it from somebody else." And then the teacher sided with them, and that was just like, dude. And so so I'm speaking for a lot of us, I think, right here. And the consciousness of the teachers and the system, thank goddess, it's changing. Not fast enough, but tonight we have some exemplaries right there. So thank you, Scott, for
Well,
taking.
I'm holding the vision that in an alternate reality, we now know through quantum physics, there are all these different alternate realities. And I'm now holding a vision that in an alternate reality, little Omar Shar has a teacher named Piper Dellums.
Right.
And Piper comes in and she sees this young man's brilliance, his amazing ability to write and to compose and to tap into the other world. And Piper is your guide in an alternate reality, as I'm imagining right now.
Thank you. That timeline, I have already adopted it. Thank you, Piper, for teaching me and realizing my potential.
Oh, Mashar, we're widening the path just to be able to absorb the beauty and genius and brilliance that is you. They couldn't hold it because its capacity was otherworldly. They didn't understand what they had before them.
Yeah.
But
Thank you, love.
we
Thank you,
love
love.
you. We love you, Omashar.
We
See
love
you.
you so much.
Mm.
And thanks for sharing that. I mean, that actually was an interesting way to set the stage of how most people, their time in school was somewhere between totally useless and boring and traumatic.
Sure.
And that's why the work you and our other guests tonight are doing is so important. Now, for anybody who doesn't know Piper, I know our whole Zoom room audience knows her because she's one of our most favorite presenters. But for anybody who doesn't know Piper, she's had an extraordinary life. And she is a true Renaissance woman. She's an amazing filmmaker. We've had her films on the show many, many times. And she also carries the torch of one of the great, there's so few political leaders that I respect. And I think most of us are pretty discouraged with the political leadership. But her father, Ron Dellums, was one of the great political leaders. When I was younger, everybody knew Ron Dellums because he was doing all the great work. I was in the Bay Area, and he was a Bay Area congressman, and very close to Martin Luther King, and just a real leader. Everybody needs to mute. Somebody out there, please mute. I think Dira caught it. Thank you, Dira. Anyway, Piper is doing the most important work of her life. She's helping young people. And Piper, I'm going to show a little bit of the film, but do you want to introduce it first?
Well, yes, I want to introduce what occurred. I mean, this was really God ordained, I must say. I was working one-on-one with a student with low functioning autism. And suddenly, a week before the end of Christmas break, I was pulled in via phone, and they said, our second art teacher has quit, and we have no one to take over the sixth, seventh, and eighth grade, 135 students. Can you jump in? Nothing was given to me, not a curriculum, no materials. What? So I spent the last 5 days of the holiday and I wrote a 171-page curriculum based on the California Standards of Education. And I had to utilize what it was, where my gifts were. And I thought, how do I incorporate all that I am? And how do I speak into children that had yet another adult walk away, yet another adult, say, I can't take it, because this is a real imprint in the hearts of children. You don't walk away and give up on young people. It sends a message that is very detrimental. We have a nation walking away. We have a political body walking away. There are parents that have walked away. And this is a difficult stage of life. So I defined something called the integrative arts. And I said, great, I'm going to teach them theater and improv and film. I'm going to have them storyboard, write their own books, teach them how to do plot and short stories, have them illustrate those stories. Then they're going to take clay and mold their antagonists and protagonists. I'm going to teach them charcoal so they can sketch the subtext of the characters. And then we're going to go from there into realism. And then we'll go into absurdism and existentialism. And that's what I did with 6th, 7th, and 8th graders who didn't know any foundation of these concepts. And they were disgruntled and frustrated. And there's a lot going on in the school systems. We had no resources. I had to fund and purchase almost all of their supplies. And yet not only did they move in with the task, but they succeeded. It was extraordinary just to watch them blossom with the issues at hand. We have a lot of issues with ICE. We have a lot of students where English is the second language. And we have a combination of students with autism and other issues where they're all piled into one room. There's not enough funding to differentiate. And so we had to find equity and trust and balance and beauty. And how else to do that but in the arts, right? The creative expression and imprint of their uniqueness. And boy, oh boy, do I have extraordinary, unique, beautiful students. And my 2 favorite love angels are here today. Kylie is here and Lexi is here, and they blew my mind, blew my heart open. I've adopted them. There's my Lexi. And I believe Alexi was 11 when she first wrote the little book and had her birthday in school and turned 12. And Kylie, so this is 6th grade. Wait, 7th grade for Lexi, 7th grade for Kylie, and they're extraordinary. So meet the 2 beautiful young ladies that have inspired this old lady back into education, opened my heart and given me hope. I can pass the baton to this generation, knowing these 2 are in the world. I love them.
Well, we're going to hear from both of them in a moment. I want to play a little bit of this movie. So do you want to set up what the movie is so we're just going to play the first few minutes. So
yes, and I just wanted to film what they were doing. I wanted them to know that the work was extraordinary, that they were seen, that they were heard, that they were loved and admired. And I wanted to show their inspiration to the world. So I filmed it, and then I did 2 art shows for them. And we have another one coming up. We're making a rock garden for the school with realism and affirmations.
all right, well, here's a little bit of the video made by Piper and her kids, and I'm really looking forward to sharing. It's we're just going to watch the first few minutes of it, but this is going to be really, really fun. Whoops, there we go.
I wanted to make a special book to kids from preschool.
This is our story, not just of an art class, but of courage. My hope was simple, to give my students the courage to dream.
Wow. So inspiring, so inspiring. And I maybe you can put into the Zoom room the chat box where people can watch the whole movie. Because that's what happened was Piper sent me the movie. She had no idea I was even doing this show. And once I saw it, it's like, well, we got to have you on this show that we're doing. So absolutely beautiful. Lexi, you have written a book, and Piper sent it to me. And it's absolutely beautiful. Well, I'm going to show a few pages from it in a moment, but tell us a little bit about your experience of writing this book.
Originally it was like a project. So The idea, I've had it since like quarantine when I was younger. And when I had like when we started this project, I was like, why don't I just like put it into my project? Because I remember like she gave us a choice between like different topics, and I was like, oh, let me make a children's book because like it feels like the right thing to do. And I feel like I chose that topic because the topic isn't really talked about much in younger kids.
And tell us a little bit about the topic. Tell us a little bit about it.
So there's this star. Her name is Luma. She felt like she was really small. She felt really, really small. And then there's this other little girl who felt the same. So then, like they could relate and they both started feeling better when they knew like they had each other.
Wow. All right. Well, I'm going to show people some parts of this book. And it's not in the exact order. The second picture you see is actually the end, but you can see, and Piper, maybe you can share with people a little bit about it too. But here it is. The book is called The Smallest Light by Lexi Quintero. And how did you come up with this beautiful artwork to go along with the writing?
Oh, well, Lexi actually illustrated the book using all of our tools that we have at school, the paints and the acrylic crayons. But I wanted to surprise her by doing a digital illustration so that I could get it published for her. I thought, what a wonderful way. I want to do this with a number of the student books. So I took her real illustrations and then I turned them into digital illustrations so that there could be a sort of a way for there to be resource to come into these young people to show their work and so they can set aside and realize that they are actually authors. But her original work was done in a crayon and colored pencil. So I just translated what she created.
And
Mhm.
how does it feel, Lexi, to see how your book has grown into something so beautiful?
Um, it's like really surprising because I feel like as just started like with little drawings and now that I see like it's become like something new and like bigger, it's like really surprising and it makes me really happy to see my book as a bigger version of itself.
Beautiful. Uh, Piper, why don't you chat with Kylie because you know her and you can kind of direct the conversation.
Absolutely. Well, Kylie also wrote a book. Kylie has been a voice at our school, a voice that has been really quieted in our country as well. And Kylie wanted to bring to the forefront for sixth, seventh, eighth graders and the teachers the journey of African Americans in our society. So she started painting these beautiful paintings of plantations and molding into clay old baskets with cotton in the baskets to show the journey of her ancestry. And then she wrote a stunning story as well. She wanted to find the voice of hope that came with the universality of people assisting slaves to escape. And her book is a beautiful one. And Kylie, would you like to talk about it?
Yes, I would.
Okay,
Um,
darling.
I wrote my book because in school, basically my whole life, I've been hearing about what happened during slavery and like everything that people went through and how hard it was and how long we black African American people have been going through that stuff. And at first, it was really hard for me to find what I was gonna inspiration on how I was gonna write my book. But then I just thought. But then in the history class, like we were talking about um Africa and a whole bunch of stuff and African American people. And I just realized, oh, I can write my story about slavery and stuff. So I wrote my book called The Key to Freedom. And it's basically about a group of people going in the past and to try and help free the slaves. So so basically basically they're all in a classroom learning about slavery and everything. And in the midst of them in class, they get like they see a portal, and they go like they all get sucked into the portal, and it's like a slave plantation. And then they see a African American named Daniel, and they're like wondering, and then in the midst of the book, they come up with a plan to escape and help all of them free, and that's really my book.
And not just that, but before we started writing and painting and molding in clay, I taught them all theater, improvisation, scene study, scene writing. And Kylie came front and center. They wrote their own monologues as well. And Kylie and a number of other students came forward during one of our cultural days and performed a monologue that I wrote for them. And it was her first time in front of an audience, and she was stunning. And I don't know if we have a moment. Do you remember a few lines of that, Kylie?
I remember all my lines.
Do you want
I love it.
do you want to tell a few lines to the audience?
Yeah, some of my favorite lines were like when it was like my third line on my second line
Okay.
where it was like it was I love the color of my skin. I love the color of my skin. The way it the way my skin absorbs the sun, glowing and ranging from deep cocoa to warm cinnamon. I love the texture of my hair. A crown that tells stories of tradition and boldness. It is and always has been enough. And I love the end of the book. Well, I mean the end of the monologue where it's like, um, I am I am proud of my ancestors. And the other part is, I will not change myself to make anyone comfortable because I am black, I am beautiful, and I am proud. And those are some of my favorite parts of the story. I mean, of the monologue.
Bravo. And I think that,
I want to
yeah,
riff for a moment. Thank you. And you just said something that is so important, especially in today's current cultural climate. Never change yourself just to make somebody else happy or because somebody else is judging you. Thank you, Kylie, for understanding that, putting it into writing. You're a very wise young woman.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to read some comments that have come in from our audience. Ayata writes, "Oh my God, from warm cocoa to deep cinnamon, I want to read that book. And I want to read Lexi's book also." Um, Ayata writes, "Kylie, that is so powerful. You just brought tears to my eyes." Uh, Nayla talks about her incredible interest in arts education, promoting growth, self-awareness, imagination, self-esteem, and just so impressed. She's so impressed, Piper. I can't read the whole, it's a large comment, but it's just how amazing it is that you can get these kids to express themselves with so few resources. Very, very beautiful. And Nayla is really impressed. She did that for 20 years as well. Carol Craig writes, "Oh my God, time travel through a portal. This sounds very intriguing." Kylie's book sounds fascinating and informative, as well as a very important and painful documentary of the horrors of slavery. And Kath writes to Lexi, Lexi, I'll bring you back up for this. She writes, "Lexi, that is such a great title. It's true. Sometimes the smallest light burns the brightest." And there are so many other comments that have come in, but I need to move on to our next presenter. I'm going to close with a comment for you, Piper. Ayata writes, "Dear Piper, this is incredible. So touching and heartwarming. It reminds me of how uncomfortable I was in my own skin at that age. What a powerful gift for all these kids, your love, your dedication, and your encouragement. Thank you.
Mm, thank you so much. And just right before we leave, and I know that Lexi didn't have an opportunity to really state it, the most beautiful aspect also of this book was this little girl was lying alone in the dark saying, I'm invisible. No one sees me. I'm so small. I might as well curl up and go away. And at the same time, that little star, Luma, in the sky was saying, I'm not the brightest star. I might as well dim my light and hide. And the beauty of this story is that Lexi stood in the gap as both the child and the star. And when they found each other, they realized that they didn't have to shine huge or brightly or loudly. It's just that they were enough to say, I am enough. I see you. And so Kylie and Lexi had the same story, just different aspects. And this is the beauty of the heart of these students. And I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to step in and teach them just as a substitute thrown in the midst to do a long-term job that actual teachers decided to walk away from. And it has been the most beautiful experience. So I love you both.
I'm going to read a couple more comments that just came in. George Noble writes, this is so wonderful, inspiring. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you, Piper, Kylie, and Lexi. Tracy Potter writes, Piper, you are an exceptional leader. So much gratitude for you. And Reverend Jeffrey, I maybe later on in the show, I'll have you talk about coherence education, because I do see all these comments you've been providing about coherence education.
Thank you, Scott. If you got time, I'd be delighted to bring up the site of Andrew Freeman. It's incredible work he's doing.
All right, towards the end of the show. And Scotty Satori, who we're going to focus on a little bit later on in the show, writes, I love, love, love that we have kids on with us tonight. My daughter Satori has always been by my side with all my conscious communities. So thank you, Piper. What a wonderful start to the show.
We love you.
And
thank you, Kylie and Lexi.
Thank you. Lexi, Kylie, we're going to track you. We want to follow the books that you write, and maybe I'll have you come back on the show again, okay? All right. Thank you so much. Well, that was a great start. Our next guest is one of my favorite human beings. This is like all stars because I adore Piper and I really adore Zenka Caro. I had the good pleasure of staying at Zenka's house in Sedona one time. I was there for maybe 5 days. And all day, all night, there was like these waves of people coming in to her house where they were all in various stages, various ages. Some were children, some were teenagers, some were adults, all learning, learning how to bend spoons, learning how to play ping pong with blindfolds on, learning how to do telepathic things. She is just such an extraordinarily dynamic, alive human being, totally curious, always coming up with innovative ways for us to expand our consciousness. And, we just saw innovative approach to younger children, younger people. What I love about Zenka is she's helping all of us. I'm 70 years old, and she's helping me to grow and to be creative. So with no further ado, to share with you about her amazing work with the Purpose Lab and LightNet. She's got so many things going on. I didn't even know which one to focus on. Zenka Caro, you are on camera with us. Hello, my friend.
Hi, Scott. It's great to see you. It's great to see you. I've got a lot of exciting updates along all those themes that you talked about.
Zenka, I'm just going to turn it over to you to share with us whatever you want to share about whatever amazing things you're up to.
Okay, great. I was going to give you a little list, Scott, and have you pick through the ones you're most interested in, but I'll just run through some. I want to first admire what just went on prior to me and these ideas of dreaming and being ourselves. And it's so powerful to see that legacy going, as Standing Bear would say, to the next 7 generations. So really amazing and very inspiring work. Thank you guys for doing what you do. So we had a big moon last night, and I don't know anything about astrology because I cannot keep up with it, but they say that this is a time for manifestation. So I was hoping everyone could put their heart on their hand for a minute and close your eyes for a minute. Let's take a breath together. Let's just take another breath in, hold it, and out. I was at the Eagle Condor event recently, and someone said to me, "You have 7 guides." And I said, "What?" He said, "A minimum of 7 guides. Do you know what the primary one is?" And I said, "No." God, your higher self. Like, no, your breath. So as we breathe together, all of us, and as part of the global peace tribe, let's think about something that brings us joy, something that we want to do while we still have 2026 in play for 6 months. So close your eyes right now and go to joy. Okay, and now we're going to wish that each and every person on this call tonight or that's listening to this archive, their joy dream comes true. Thank you, guys. So thanks so much, Scott, for having me. You know, here in Sedona, we do something called the Dream Machine Mission Monday, which is on Monday, we gather around a high-tech device at Humankind Center with Sedona Quantum Consciousness and Mark, and we put two people's dreams while we're using the biocharger in 2 meditations. And this guy came on there and he wished that the heart of the world would be restored in Colombia with the 4 original tribes. And that dream caught my heart. And then a girl that was working for it, working from the same project, came in later. And it turned out we got to go to the heart of the world. And I want to show a few pictures, if I can share my screen, Scott,
Yes.
of this trip to the heart of the world, where, Scott, I'll have you know, we are grounding your legacy, and so many other people are. So they're building a peace village. And they pray for peace in their way with nature, and it's very powerful. And so we got to be a part of raising $1 million to give to the tribes to buy back the land, and their church, you guys, I'm going to show it to you, looks like an avatar tree. So church for them was going to, this is it. Now let me share this big. Or let's see, I'm just gonna pull it up as big as I can. So I don't know if you can see this, but this is where you sit, and this is the tree, and it was magnificent. Um, Sun Nation, Tiam and Kelsey Faith gave them instruments which they had requested for a music school for kids, and they were able to buy back land. So this is some of, Mark donated the money to make reparations for what the Catholic Church had done to the 4 original tribes. So they stripped them of their culture. It was pretty, they killed the 100 most important mamos, the ones that carry the wisdom. So they told the story with a lot of love in their hearts and patience. And so it's really amazing. I mean, it was like paradise on earth. Like there was a synchrony with all of the nature flowing, and there was many places we went to that you couldn't get to even by cars. So yeah, and I'll show this other so bless them. I will just let me just close that part by saying that the Eagle Condor by Adam Yellowbird was here in Sedona recently, where all the tribes in the world are starting to come together because they already understand that we're one with nature and everything else. So it's a very beautiful time. So the next slide that I was coming up with, was about the TV station. So in the Dream Machine, we dreamed that we wanted to have a TV station. So Scott, I really want you to be a guest in the TV station. So we're doing this with 4 different people. We have an entrance room, a green screen, and a full studio where we want 2 sets where we really want to broadcast from as the home of the Renaissance here in Sedona. So we're really inspired by what's to come. We're in the final stages of clearing. As you all know, before our dreams just come true in front of us. And Sedona is going to be a light capital with the heart of the mountain and be this place where we, no matter what we have at hand, we are going to bring love and joy and projects for our community so that we can all connect and play together. Because we're so much stronger together. Each and every one of us in the Global Peace Tribe are bringing peace to the world in our own ways. So the TV studio has been a really great project that has gone through the Dream Machine. And so we're running it as a collective with 4 different people. So we each pay $400 a month, and we can run in there and interview people, which is really great. So if you're in Sedona, please let us know at lightnet.org that you'll be here. So we'd love to interview you, or you can interview your favorite person as well. So the next thing is that we mounted in this last year, since I've seen you, Scott, the Sustainable Fashion Lab. And this is also a joy template from the Dream Machine, where we bring different generations, different socioeconomic backgrounds together on joy. In this case, sustainable fashion. And I'm just going to share my screen quickly here. This is a local project, but look at, so 48 hours people have to upcycle clothes and make them sustainable. This was the winner of the $5,000 prize. And this is a template. So if anybody wants to get together with their town, we can tell you how we did it. And we even made it sustainable thanks to Quinton. So if you go to Fashion Lab Sedona, you can see the videos and things like that we're going to be posting in the next couple days for next year's event. And my greatest pleasure is to show my next demo, which is our new LightNet website that we have literally been working on, I think, for 4 years.
Wow.
And it was a walk of faith, because it was so expensive to raise the money to build the software, and then it wasn't fast enough. And as many of you know, vibe coding on Claude Code is starting to just like someone can pay $100 and build $100,000 website right now. So I want to show you what we've been cooking for so many years in our hearts. Here it is. So it's lightnet.org, the world's first consciousness research data platform. We have over 1,000 resources, and we have curiosity labs. So how do we do these impossible things? How do we bend spoons? How do we find our purpose? How do we make contact with ETs? How do we get off drugs and addictions? How do we levitate? And how do we expand our consciousness? So everybody can go in there, and these are constantly changing every day. We talked a lot about courage earlier in the show, and be courageous is the #1. So we took 100 people and we asked them how they found their purpose, and they told us. And the core research finding is purpose isn't something that you chase, it's what you find when you stop pretending. So being yourself really feels good, and it lights the world around you into your wildest dreams come true. So we have this analysis of how I find my purpose, the top 10, and our map of over 100 people. And this is a living library where you can, oh, Lynn McTaggart, great. Someone put that in as a resource, a library. And you can also click on each person's name. And Hot Swap Knowledge, this is everything that she has in her living library. You can create a free account and join any labs as long as you've done the thing. We're not researching almost, we're researching completion. So if you've contacted an ET or a past loved one, you can fill out that. what's great is that you can share these instead of having to look up all of the details of how I expand my consciousness so I can give it to a friend at a cafe. I can simply just give them this URL and hot swap all my knowledge, all the books, and all the teachers that I have associated with that lab. So it's collective wisdom on steroids, free to the world as a data resource of how we do anything impossible. And that became my really North Star this year is I make the impossible possible. So it's feeling really good. And I encourage you guys all to come up with a phrase that makes you laugh and scared at the same time, because truly purpose is something that is something that you really overcome in your life. If you look at your North Node, that's where your stride, that's your evolution is there. It's a little bit scary, but it's worth it when you get started. So I want to talk about, I'm actually doing really well on time. Wow, I covered that in 9 minutes. That's pretty good. So I wanted to talk to you about some wild things if you guys are ready.
We like wild. Take us into the wild.
So this is actually really wild. So you know, some people know I'm a spoon bender, and I've taught over 700 people, more than that at this point, over 900 people how to bend spoons with their mind, because I just did my dream, which was to teach 250 children in school how to do it. It's quite easy, especially if you're playful. So when I got back from Colombia, Alan Steinfeld brought me into the census training by Dalia Begoin, who specializes in mindsight. I kid you not, everyone. She can see through a blindfold, and she teaches people with no eyes in their head that have been removed due to blindness to see the world around them. And she was teaching people, 45 of us got in this room, and it was a telekinesis and mindsight training. My friend put her blindfold on and immediately saw a color, a shape, and then started reading a book. So that, you know, I thought my mind was open, but this was beyond wild for me. And I'm gonna be sticking her. I've got a lot of links to share with you, but unfortunately, I haven't put them in, but here you go. So you get to see that of her work. And I'm also going to show you this guy, Paul Shepard, who I collaborate with research on, sent me this from his child the other day, and I wanted to share it to you because this was another thing that they were doing. So I don't know if you can see this, but this is pencils and an eraser stuck to the wall. Okay, so this just defies any sense of logic. And they were there the next day, and then 2 days later, they were still stuck on the wall. So
Wow.
this is the kind of stuff. We turned water into vinegar using our group intention. We cut cucumbers in half like this and stuck them back together using our minds and belief systems, and then hung 18 pounds on them. I mean, this was the most joy-filled, irreverent, like I'd never known anyone to do this before. And they do have training in extraordinaries.com. I put it in the chat here. That's extra-ordinaries.com. So the people that came to this workshop at Sedona, in Sedona, were from the Cygames. So if you guys are interested in this stuff, I encourage you to go check out Cygames because they're in their second year. It's like the Psychic Olympics. And people compete in remote viewing, precognition, which is cool, and moving objects and stuff like that. So I think people are really starting to have a lot of fun with this stuff, and it's been really great. So I'm doing a spoon bending on May 14th. If you guys haven't done it, you can pay $14 to join the nonprofit with a donation. And on May 14th at 6:30, you can bend spoons with us online. And also, Scott, I'm going to be having 100 people bend spoons together at the Portugal Wave, which is coming up. I'm going to add in the chat. This is going to be Lynn McTaggart, Lynn Twist, who raised $200 million for the Amazon. And Lynn McTaggart, you guys know from the Power of Eight, they're both going to be there. So I'm like really excited. And we're going to do a super huge spoon bending. And that's coming up right here, May 29th to June 1st. And we've been amazed because the plane tickets are actually not that expensive. I don't know how that works, but I wanted to say a couple more things. So another dream of mine just came true today, and I'm like flabbergasted. So so I've always wanted, at the end of the Purpose Lab, we were supposed to write down the thing we most like a totem exciting image in our head of something that was important to us or meant something. And I wrote a whiteboard. And there's these digital ones now that are like a TV screen, but they're a whiteboard. And I've always wanted one. And I looked them up and they're like $2,000. And I was like, okay, not happening. And it turns out that LightNet is and the Dream Machine is going to assist Marco Rodin record and document his life and raise money to do that. So Marco Rodin is the modern day Tesla. Okay, so he does vortex math, which is kind of like numbers around a toroidal field, and that math, that understanding of the world, is being used to build free energy devices here in Sedona. 9 years in the making, and they're moving into production. That translates, we have a working prototype that's priced, that's government approved, because these guys have kids that were like, oh, we don't want to build this if we're going to die. So government approved free energy vortex power generators that you can buy for $20,000, run out into the middle of the woods and have power. You can put it in a rack mount. You can put it as a community. So my prayer is that Sedona becomes, does the whole city. So this is not solar. This is actually, it's the 0 point. It's the heart. It's the metaphor is our heart is where it all happens. Okay, so, and that's kind of how this works. It compresses into that. We won't go into the details, but it's my great pleasure to invite you guys, anyone who's in Sedona. He's going to be at the Ancient conference tomorrow, Ancient History, I think it is. And then he's going to be at the Flanagan Library for 15 people on May 20th. And on June 6th, he'll be online as well. So this is 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. of him explaining the math that the fingerprint of God, he calls it, is the math that drives everything. And I found out that all this math is based on the Baha'i codings in their work. So we're sharing data on a level that's fundamental, that teaches us about how the construct of this world and how beautiful it is and how beautiful nature is. So I just have 2 tiny updates more, which I think I have time for, which is great. So let's see. So my studio mate, Ron James, in the TV studio, is coming out with his new movie on disclosure. His earlier movie, Accidental Truth, was it grossed $1 million. It was really cool. He's the head of the MUFON, Mutual UFO Network. And his latest film was called Accidental Truth Next. And he's asking this question like, hey guys, if disclosure is real, what is next? And the film has 3 parts. The first one is him going to Congress going, why isn't this happening yet? The second is material science. So there's all sorts of exotic materials that are being fought over, traded, found in the world. And everyone's like, ah. So it goes into that. And then the last section of the film talks about consciousness, which is the elephant in the room when we talk about ETs, dimensions, and consciousness in general. So it's a movie that you can watch more than once, and it's coming out June 2nd. And I believe the Spielberg movie Disclosure, if you didn't know, Disclosure is going mainstream in June. So that's coming up. Now, speaking of films, I want to share a film that I made, a micro short that's 90 seconds long. And this is part of Danette Wolpart's Illuminate Film Festival, along with Spiritual TV, where they have inspired the world. They had 700 entries last year. So these micro shorts, which are shared on Gaia and shared around the internet, and mine is it's not a controversial film, but it's kind of a shocking perspective. Adam, well, okay, so yeah, I'll say that I don't want to spoiler alert, but I think it's good to go in knowing. So he said to me once, he said, I wonder if this is heaven and we like no he said I wonder if this world, this reality we're living through for, is designed to give you everything your heart ever desired. That this was actually that, but that that wasn't, we didn't get the memo. So this film is about that concept, and it's also about our future. And I'm going to play it now. This I'm going to share also. This is his 2-minute trailer. I'll share that afterwards of Ron's film called Accidental Truth 2. It's absolutely incredible. Okay, so here we go. Make this full screen.
Did you know you are already dead?
Technically, if you've lived before.
Then this is the afterlife of that life.
So what is the afterlife? Heaven?
A cloud?
A golden goblet?
A silver tray with grey poupon?
Or is this already heaven?
And we just haven't learned how to build it right.
Maybe the real afterlife is what happens when we stop dragging the past into every tomorrow.
When the wound is not the architect. When we refuse to pass down the fracture. When we remember how to turn inward.
And build reality from coherence.
Maybe the future is not shiny because it's new. Maybe it shines when we stop repeating.
Wow.
Oh, let's shut that next video off here. Okay.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Definitely please put the links to these things into the chat box.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. I have to look for it real quick, but if you guys, yeah, the People's Choice is actually going on until the 7th, so there's 5 more days. If you liked it, you can write a comment in the YouTube, and if you want, you can vote for it. So I'll put those in the chat. But yeah, Illuminate Film Festival, the biggest consciousness film festival in the world, this is a new initiative that they're doing, and it's beautiful. So it's called the Illuminate Micro Shorts competition.
Well, guess what? The Awakening World is where they are going to announce the winners of the Micro Short Festival.
Okay, I love it.
We're going to have Olivia and Danette on the show.
Okay,
and we are going to be the ones that will have the pleasure. And I give you the exact date that's happening. And we're going to have some of the winners on the show. That is coming up on Saturday night, May 23rd. Saturday night, May 23rd. We are going to be hosting on the Awakening World, the Illuminate Film Festival micro short winners. So,
I know, because you're the center. You're like the center vortex for the entire community. Scott, thank God for you. Like, this has really been over the years. Like, you've had all of us on the show, and thank you for bringing us all together. And thanks everyone for being here in Scott's vibration and his dream to connect us and to, I mean, I'm always super inspired, Scott, when I go to your shows. It's just like, this person exists. That project exists. Wow, like this is so good. Like just in the musicians and the projects that people are doing are just so inspiring. And I wanted to just close with 1 minute where it might be a little bit of a bumpy year, but the ones that have already done their work, we can be the calm for everyone else, and the love and the compassion, as we really go into the Renaissance. So this is, we're almost there. We're at the marathon. My housemate is running, I think, 80 miles on Sunday night. So we're on mile 79 of 80. And thank you guys for being part of the Global Peace Drive. And Scott, I just thank you for everything you are and do. You are inexhaustible and heart-centered and wise. And we couldn't build this community around the world without you. Thank you.
Thank you, Zenka. I will talk privately, but I am planning to come through Sedona, either on my way to and or my way back from Santa Fe. I'm going to be driving from the Bay Area to Santa Fe for the Evolutionary Leaders Retreat. Are you planning on going to the retreat?
I was inducted to Evolutionary Leaders this year. I was like so excited. I will be checking finances and time and babysitters. So I have a 12-year-old. So
well,
I like
if
have
you
a couple more
catch
years.
a ride,
I'm not traveling as much.
You can catch a ride with me. I'll pick you up in Sedona, take you to Santa Fe, and bring you back. How's that sound?
Yeah, if you're going to get to see my UFO Tesla when you come, because I'm wrapping as we speak in Phoenix, holographic green-orange UFO like looking wrap on my car. I've been wanting to do this for many years, and it's going to be a lot of joy on the roads.
Wow.
And we want to put you in the studio no matter what, Scott. So
yeah, we'll figure out dates and everything.
Okay, you guys. Definitely. Thank you, Scott.
Zenka, thank you. There's so many comments that have come in from people about how infectious you are, how delightful you are, people appreciating you. So please take a look in the chat box. We're running a little bit late, so I'm not going to read them, but there's amazing, and put in the links. And then I will send those links out when I send the replay of tonight's show. I'll include all those links.
Okay, cool. I'm throwing them in right now. So thank you so much, Scott.
Love you, Zenka.
Okay, love you too.
Isn't she a force of nature? I tell you, she and Piper is like boom, boom, right? Just back-to-back extraordinary souls. Okay, we have 3 really, really important announcements. So I'm actually doing the Global Peace Tribe announcements a little bit earlier tonight because they all are really important. The first one is tomorrow. I've mentioned it before, but I really want to encourage everyone. Tomorrow is the UAP Con number 2. This is being put on by many of my friends and colleagues, including Alan Steinfeld. He's the host for it. And it's free. It's from 10 a.m. till 3 p.m. Pacific time. I want everybody, let's take a minute. And right now, you're all on computers because you're watching the show. Go to uapcon.com, uapcon.com, and click register. And I'll continue to chat. I'll leave that up for you. What I love about this particular online event is it's all about our rising consciousness. And they've got amazing presenters. They've got Linda Moulton Howe, Danny Sheehan, a lot of our very favorite voices. And some people that you probably haven't heard of that aren't quite as famous, but are some of the great thinkers. And the whole focus is what's going on in our world now, all the rise of non-human intelligence, artificial intelligence, galactic intelligence, nature's intelligence, and how it all points to this incredible rise of consciousness taking place. And so they had their first one a couple months ago, and it was probably the best online experience I've ever had. I was just blown away with how profound it was. So I hope to see all of you tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock Pacific time at UAPCon. And again, go to uapcon.com, register. It's free. It's an amazing gift and an amazing experience for all of us. I think you'll really, really enjoy it. The next announcement that I have that's equally important is you'll recall that I had spoken a little bit a while ago about teaching a course on relationship mastery with my friend Katrina Valancourt. And then things came up. She went to India, ended up staying there longer. And so we postponed the start of the course. And we kind of have changed the shift of attention. It's now people can come in or out. You can come in for 1 week. You can come in for 4 weeks. You can come in for 8 weeks. And we're going to be doing it every Saturday morning, starting next Saturday. And talk about education. Look, life is a relationship. If your relationships are going well, you're pretty happy. If your relationships are not going well, you're unhappy. Now, tonight we're featuring great educators, and I'm going to toot my little horn for a moment. I'm really, really, really masterful at helping people understand how to improve their relationships. It's what I do best, far better than hosting this show. And I really want to share my wisdom with you. And my partner, Katrina, is also brilliant at what she does. And she's very masterful with nonviolent communication. I've taken what I've learned from Marshall in nonviolent communication and then added what I've learned after working with over 1,000 couples and families. So I want to encourage all of you once again, right now while we're talking, to go to my website. Go to lovecoachacademy.com, lovecoachacademy.com, and take this first little quiz. It's going to ask you some questions. Of course, for those of you who can afford it, we are hoping that you might choose to come into the course and pay for it. But we are going to take some scholarships as well. But you got to fill out this little quiz for us to know who you are, what your relationship status is, what your situation is. So if you could fill that out, that would be really, really wonderful. And I hope that I'll see some of you in our course. It's Saturday mornings from 9 a.m. till 11 a.m. Pacific time. And then there's an optional practice group where we take what we've learned and practice it with the people that stay in the Zoom room audience. I mean, you got to learn everything from how to set boundaries with compassion, how to really express yourself in a way where you feel heard and understood, how to really listen to others, how to manage triggers. That's my favorite thing to teach, because no matter how spiritually advanced we might be, we get triggered. Maybe we get triggered by Donald Trump. Maybe we get triggered by our ex. Maybe we get triggered by our kids or our parents or the people we work with, the people we live with. Learning how to manage our triggers is huge. And I've got great tools to help you go from reptile brain reactivity to frontal lobe responsiveness. And I'm going to teach you how to do that in this course. So please, again, lovecoachacademy.com. Right here where it says take the first step, just click that, and that will take you into the little thing where you get, and this is where you begin your free session. And everybody who fills this out, we will provide you, if you're sincere and you're sincerely interested in the course, we will provide you with a free discovery call, either myself and or Katrina. So I really hope that you'll join us for that. The third and final important announcement, and of course, those of you who were with us on Wednesday know about this. One of our all-time favorite Global Peace Tribers is, of course, Scotty Satori. We all love Scotty a lot. And I'm almost sure maybe if you can find him and bring him up onto the camera, please. Scotty's going through a health challenge, and we really want to help him. I learned about this on Wednesday afternoon during the Unity Earth thing. I texted him and said, Scotty, have you started a GoFundMe? And he said, well, no, I started a GoFundMe, and I am so grateful to see, because of all of you, we've raised $4,558 for Scotty Satori. Now, that's not just all Global Peace Tribers. There's other people in other communities. But look at just how much love there is. And look at, right off the bat, there are some of our people that are in the Zoom room right now with us. I mean, the first people that come up, Lorna Sass, Carol Craig, Connie Baxter Marlowe, they're all in the Zoom room with us right now. I saw them come in. Diara, Carol Sims, Bonnie Russell, Patricia Fortuna, Ayada, Amanda Waring. I mean, these are all Zoom room members with us right now, Global Peace Tribers. So if you haven't donated yet, please do so now. I'm going to put it in the chat box. And for those of you who are watching on Facebook and YouTube, please donate. Just go to GoFundMe.com, and then in the search bar, put in Scotty Satori, and it'll come right up. He's the only Scotty Satori that's going to GoFundMe right now. And here he is, the man, the myth, the legend, our beloved Scotty Satori.
Oh,
Scotty,
wow.
whatever you'd like to share.
Wow. It's, my Divine Dream Team has shown up every single way possible, and it's been, it's you have to pinch yourself. I'm already on a lot of stuff. We're just a full 360, full spectrum approach at this. So, and it's coming in I'm actually on LifeWave now. Yeah, I remember that at our retreat. It's like, what's this LifeWave thing? And so my patches got sent yesterday, so I'm started, all sorts of things have come in. My daughter's was with me, and she was finding me stuff, making me teas, and you know, uh, brother Jerry got me going on some stuff, and the next three other people talked about exactly what Jerry told, just everywhere. And I'm just so accepting and loving. It's just, I just can't, it's just, I have no words. It just blows me away. And I just so love and honor all of you. And, wow. Uh, thank you, thank you. And I've seen everybody, and I wish there's a way I can, thank everybody through everything. But I think just to be able to get it out like this, and then people in the future will be able to see that. But yeah, I just love you and thank you beyond words. Thank you.
So I'm going to remove myself for a moment, and let's just all send healing energy. And absolutely, as we look at Scotty, know that he has years and years and years of radiant health ahead to be with us all as we enter the new paradigm, as we enter the awakened world. See Scotty there, right there in radiant health with us at all the retreats, running around doing what he does at the retreats. Let's just all see Scotty with maximum grace and radiant health. Maximum grace and radiant health.
Yeah. And I think the best thing, Scott, is just keep your head up, stay high vibed, and keep moving and grooving, right? And I'm more worried about my friends and family, and with that positive mentality, that's gonna get you through it. instead of letting something like that swallow you up. So people are very blown away by that, and that's just how we roll. That's
Keep those high vibes coming up, Scotty. We love you so much.
I love you.
All right. Well, listen, we're only halfway through. We've still got some amazing presenters. So it's the mid-show point, which means it is time for Omashar to provide us with our mid-show song. Take it away, brother.
In the beginning when we were one, life was fun. The human race had just begun. When you were children you laughed and played in the sun. So tell me now, where have you gone? Come back and divine, you're part of me, walking through time. I didn't leave you in the dark, you are the jewel in my heart. We could never be apart. For you endlessly, a field of dreams in between. You are the children of the sun, all of you. The world awaits your point of view. So come back and play with the divine. You're part of me, walking through time. I didn't leave you in the dark, you are the jewel in my heart. We could never be apart.
Let's go to gallery view and give lots of love. What a perfect song. Like those lyrics are so perfect for tonight's show. Thank you, Omashar.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, takes a village, man, and here we are.
What has anything you want to share that's touched your heart so far tonight, buddy?
It all touches me, and really, I mean, gosh, the two planets that we've been on, Piper's planet and Zenka's planet, it's amazing how they dovetail with each other. I was so inspired by Piper's new revivification of herself in teaching these children, and it's something that I'm even looking at myself, because you realize you have to pass everything through the whole of creation, which includes everything that's coming up. And even though I don't do time, I don't do age, yet I was so inspired by seeing the beauty that was being revealed through, for instance, Kylie and Lexi, and the video with all of those amazing people. It's like, wow, I never saw any of that when I was growing up. I didn't see any of that. There's a few bright lights, and I don't know, they went off and became, I don't know, bankers. But whatever, I'm just being flippant here. That was so inspiring. And then Zenka, it's like the next generation. It's not like a generational age, but she was just brought in the joy without even anything that she shared. And everything that she's doing is not just for her, it's for the whole universe, it's for the whole world, for every child that's coming up. And I was hoping that, for instance, Kylie and Lexi were still watching Zenka, because it's like a template for who we are all becoming. And yes, I think that's enough for now, Scott. So thank you.
Beautiful. Oh, beautiful. Thank you for sharing all that. Well, wait till you meet our next set of guests, because they are continuing on by doing amazing work. You're about to meet the three co-founders of the Quantum Kids Laboratory. It's a family-centered virtual playroom where we learn about and play with consciousness, all about the material and non-physical worlds, including superhero stuff like telepathy, blindfold perception, spoon bending, time bending, and more. Zenka, meet the Quantum Kids Laboratory. Quantum Kids Laboratory, meet Zenka. Is that amazing?
Wow, this is really amazing.
Right? So Zenka, the person that is a personal friend of mine, who's going to kind of start us off, one of the co-founders, is Liz Connors. And Liz and I actually lived next door to each other for a while in Ashland, Oregon, when I was living up there. She's a dear friend and a returning guest on the show. She's been on a few times. She has shared with us her abilities as an oracle, healer, coach, and as solar flare expert. But today she's with us as the co-founder of the Quantum Kids Laboratory. Welcome back to the Awakening World, Liz.
Hi, Scott. Thank you so much for having me. And wow, every time, like it was mentioned, every time I come on this show, I'm like frantically writing notes like, oh, I want to follow up on that. And I want to look into that project. And it's just so amazing to see what humans are weaving, I'll say. I did want to present a moment of transparency, like new age. Well, I don't love the term new age. I just want to say truth. I am having major ascension flu as an experience in this particular now moment. And I know many oracles who also are right now. I don't know if anyone else is having that, but that is a very real part of my reality over the last decade. And I just wanted to presence it because the old world is where we tuck that away. And we don't talk about that. We don't share our feelings. We gaslight dis-ease in the body, which is a resistance to the energy that wants to move through us, right? And some of us who really tuned into the electromagnetics and the subtle field, who serve what I call a bridging role and an anchoring role, will feel more. So one of my masteries is feeling, and yay. But I just wanted to talk about it because a lot of people will gaslight it and be like, I'm sick, or but it could be your superpower. You could be doing a major service for the field when you can lovingly experience these feelings and move through it. So I just wanted to presence that real quick and use it as a teaching moment. And this is one of the things that I'm sure Piper's doing with her kids. We work with kids of all sorts on the spectrum and all sorts of feelers. And one of my specialties is recognizing the different superpowers, I'll say, of all the different kids and how differently what their different genius is and what their different wisdom is. So I don't want to get too far along before I introduce my cohorts, but I just wanted to mention that because when we harness and lift these kids up, a part of it is opening the box for the different ways that people feel, the different ways that they're impacted by the cosmos, by the earth, by the Schumann resonance, by perception. And instead of tucking that away and asking them to fit in the box and get in line, it's finding a pathway to opening that up.
So Liz, since you brought it up, Ayada is asking the same question I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
What is the ascension flu? She's never heard that term before.
Oh, absolutely. So I feel like I'm gonna hurl. My head feels like it might rip open and like flames might fly out. And that's essentially, there's so much downloads coming in of new energy right now that the upgrade is faster than my physical body can allow the energy to pass through. And so sometimes it just takes a period of integration, just feeling the waves, just riding the waves. And it can be a lot of things. I mean, I could sound like one of those prescription drug commercials when listing off what the symptoms are. And actually I did a really cool talk all about the solar flares, maybe 3-4 years ago on your show, Scott. We could pull up that episode and reference it because I list off all of the symptoms and I talk about what a KP4 is, what a GO3 geomagnetic storm is, what the different colors mean. So anyway, it's one of my other specialties and timelines and the grace with what we must acknowledge as we start to move into this whole new dynamic of what the actual truth of being a full spectrum human looks like. So that brings me to my colleague, who is very much a full spectrum human. He is a father. He is an adventurer. He hosts a very lively podcast. He's actually had Zinka's business partner on before. He works with me in the Quantum Kids Lab, and he's a coach, entrepreneur. I could ramble on all sorts of stuff about this amazing human here. This is Derek Loudermilk, one of my co-founders in the Quantum Kids Lab. And then Joya Holman, who is also my partner. I'm just going to switch over to hers. Joya is so cool. She has been all over the world doing marine biology stuff. I mean, one of my dream come trues as a bird nerd is she got to be on an island for like a year just doing like bird stuff. I mean, seriously amazing. She's a teacher. She works at museums and aquariums and teaches children. She has an amazing child right there. So also a mother, the best job ever. So I'll stop there just for time. Hello. Say hi, friends.
Hello. Thank you, Liz. And thanks, everyone. Good to be here.
And I feel so very nauseous. So I'm going to have one of you two jump in and talk more.
Derek, tell us about the Quantum Kids Laboratory.
Oh boy. Well, it's so good to see my co-founders, Joya and Liz. I was actually just in Sedona, but I missed Joya. We actually founded this on a hike in Sedona, which was just so fun. My kids have gone to bed, so they won't be joining us, but a lot of these experiments in consciousness, like playing with telepathy, playing with a psi wheel, doing blindfold reading. We've been doing for years, and Liz showing us the side wheel and other artifacts there. And so then, it's so much fun to bring this to, adults love to learn all this superpower stuff too. Maybe I'll just share like a fun story about, we had a actual in-person physical. We do our classes virtually, but we had a physical workshop at the Metaphysical Fair here in St. Louis recently. And maybe I'll just tell you a little fun story about what happened to give you a little taste about, just the kind of magic that we experience. So we were doing envelope telepathy, which is where I put a photograph in an envelope, hidden in the envelope, and then we go around the room. We open up our perception a little bit, and then we go around the room, and people say what they think the picture is. And oftentimes, if you know about remote viewing or telepathy, you're getting part of the picture. And in this particular picture is some children playing with a water buffalo somewhere in Asia. And some people were perceiving the jungle. Some people were perceiving the laughter of the kids. One person perceived the spray of the water. They're throwing water on this water buffalo. And so it was first of all a really cool teaching moment, because it shows that you're not just seeing the scene, you're not just seeing the picture, you're experiencing the whole event that's happening through your different senses. Some people were just feeling the emotion of the joy of the play. But there was one kid who was like, I am just seeing a guy in a purple shirt with glasses on. And we were like, well, that's fine. That's not what this photo is. Eventually I reveal the photo. We've like pieced together what we think it might be. And then I reveal the photo, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, I got the color, I got the shapes, or I got the, it's cool for them to see the reveal so they can see like how they were getting the information and how it matches with the picture. So we did it again, and the same kid was like, I see a guy in a purple shirt and glasses. Not the picture. It was these, the other picture was these other birds. Anyway, 5 minutes later, a guy in a purple shirt with glasses walks in the room. He's like, is this the workshop? Oh, I'm an hour early. And this kid was like, that's the guy that I saw. And
Wow.
everyone else, and everyone else was like, that's amazing. And the kid was like kind of freaked out. But it was so cool because we were like, that can happen. Who knew that was going to happen? But, there's like a 5-minute precognition that this kid experienced. And when we do this type of stuff, we never know what's going to happen. And that's why we call it a laboratory, because it really is kind of like a playful experimentation. We teach them skills and then we turn them loose, and usually more than we expect happens.
That's a beautiful, beautiful story. Thank you. Joya, I'm going to put the spotlight on you for a moment. What would you like to share about the wonderful work that you're doing?
Well, firstly, thank you so much for having us here. It's such an inspiration to be amongst so many kindred souls here and doing such amazing work out in the world. And yeah, we're really excited to be able to help activate children's innate abilities, help to nurture what is already inside of them in terms of, the magic and the understanding of the unseen and all their capabilities that I've lost touch with as I've grown older and am now unlearning what I was conditioned with in school through raising my own daughter. And every time we teach, I just think to what a magnificent difference it would have made for me if I had had this kind of awareness of, of telepathy, of my dream, of the human energy field and the chakra system and how to heal myself and just how to expand our potential and our awareness and consciousness here on Earth. So, yeah, exciting.
We love stories. What's a story you'd like to share of something that touched your heart that's taken place in the Quantum Kids Laboratory?
I've enjoyed seeing, some children who really don't
And who's
thrive.
this little angel?
This is my daughter. You want to say hi? Hi, yeah. Um, I think seeing children that don't thrive in traditional classroom environments
Hmm.
light up when they are seen in a new way, and when they have the opportunity to explore skills and creativity and imagination that they're not given normally in a conventional school system. So I think it's really, really exciting to see those children shine.
Thank you. All the future Omashars are who you're supporting along the way.
Exactly. And I'm so happy that Joya mentioned um, you know, some of us have spent a tremendous amount of time masking and unlearning that mask and relearning who we are and welcoming these gifts, turning them almost back on. And one of the things that was so clear to me as my healing journey has been so long, like a decade of just throwing things out, like getting them out of my body, healing that suppression, which turned into illness, and just learning how to allow what naturally wanted to flow through me to come back to the surface. And so I kept saying in my head for the last 7 years, the children are our future. I kept hearing Whitney Houston. And so when we were all hiking in Sedona, it was like, yeah, let's do this. And God bless Derek. He just went home and like the next day sent us a website and was like, okay, we're doing this. And so here we are. We just started in February and we're doing a lot of the stuff that Zinka mentioned too, but we're also the basics, teaching about, how does energy flow in your body, breath work, activating the left and right side of your brain, how to connect to the elementals, earth, air, fire, water, even ether, grounding, fuel, nutrition. It just runs the gamut. And we're doing some live runs too, but it's a virtual, so we have people from all over the world, and it's family centered. So the parents are learning alongside the kids, which I think is really special because it covers both ends of that spectrum. And they get to do it together, which is just so magical. And so, yeah, I don't want to go too long because I'm actually kind of not holding down some things. That's not what I'm trying to do, but you know what I mean. I would like to go meditate into this movement here, but it's been a success, and we would love to teach you or your children, and we'll likely be running an adult version of this too. We are doing some live events for adults and children and families as well through various cities in the US, and those will be kind of rolling out as we go.
I believe you have a little video and maybe the website you want to show.
Absolutely. I'll put the website in the chat, and yeah, Omashar, take it away if you'd love to show this very brief video.
You're showing the video.
Oh, I'm showing the video.
You're showing the video is what we talked about.
Well, guess what? It's ready. So here we
Yay.
go.
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet. It's, really meant to just be a teaser. But there's so much. We all joke that we could teach this class infinitely and not run out of stuff to teach between the three of us. So
what's the age level of young people you're working with?
Great question. I'm gonna let Derek answer.
Yeah, so probably our youngest is 6, and 6 to 13. I think we have James is maybe 13. So that's roughly the range. But we'd welcome slightly older kids. And then if we have an adult version, then you can graduate into that. Yeah, but most of the kids are, in that like 6 to 11 range.
Okay, great.
And I have another cool story because you said you like stories.
We like
because
stories.
part of this is about the families, right? And there's a range of how far parents are in their awakening journeys or their spiritual awareness, and like even among the mother and the father, right? And so one of the dads was telling me, and he works like a normal corporate job, and he was like, I was drinking my coffee one morning, and it's a clear day. I was out on the patio, and it started hailing, and I was like, huh, that's funny. Then he woke up his daughter for school, and she told him, Dad, I had this amazing dream where I could control the weather with my watch, so I decided to make it hail. And it blew his mind. And it's these things that sort of like start to prise open the doorways of what's possible, both for the kids and the parents. Because if reality is a little bit more malleable, then what else could be true? And it starts to get people outside of whatever box that they're in. So it's very exciting just to we always have these types of things happening with our students and families.
Yeah.
That
And
makes it fun.
as we start working with unity consciousness and alchemizing as a collective, pulling down, ideas, sharing ideas, we can share and absorb superpowers. I mean, it's absolutely a thing. So what we're observing is that as we get together in groups, just as you would a meditation or an Om chanting, and you start to explore these different gifts, just by being in the presence of someone else who is practicing it, knowing it, allowing it, it can spread and domino into the field. So we like to say in Quantum Kids Lab, anything and everything is possible. So, what questions are you asking and what are you allowing? And we've witnessed so many things like that. Like in our first class, we did spoon bending, and like 50% of our group was able to spin the spoon and even cork it, like spin it, twist it, and then some broke them right in half. And
Wow.
you think about that, and just less than 20 minutes prior, they didn't think they'd be able to do that. So it's the other thing is, so Derek and I are both, and maybe Joya too, she hasn't talked about it as much, but we're very prophetic dreamers. And we have dreams like one of our kids will eventually be able to walk through walls. And because we know that the now is all that exists and forward and backwards can be changed, we can change little Omashar's experience now by creating a program like Quantum Kids Lab because of the way the omniverse, I'll say, works. And so we did a meditation in class, and we prayed and asked, kind of like the Power of Eight concept, that would reveal itself, and backwards, forwards, it's all connected. So just knowing it and then taking that action, that creates the path. So not to get too deep, but we're playing with all sorts of stuff, time bending, changing the weather, like Derek talked about. So yeah, just a
Okay.
little about what we're doing.
Well, to conclude, I'd love to hear a little more from Joya, since she hasn't had as much time to share. So, Joya, do you have another story you'd like to share, or something for us to know about the Quantum Kids Laboratory?
This is actually Derek's story, but I really enjoyed hearing about it, where he and one of his children were having the same dream, which I thought was pretty amazing. And I think even, just learning about coherence and what happens when we all come together and work together, I think even within our group, we're starting to just build a really beautiful sense of community and sense of tribe. A lot of the parents are coming with the same kind of worldview and perspective coming together in an online community. And yeah, it's just really nourishing, I think, for all of us, for the kids and the parents to learn together and evolve together. Looking forward to
Beautiful.
seeing what happens, seeing what grows from it this week.
And Ayada, it is an online lab. It's online right now. And you guys had Elizabeth April, I believe, on.
Yes, a few weeks ago. And she gave such an amazing talk about sensitivity in children and, tips for parents who are raising highly sensitive children, how to navigate that and how to help them blossom and support them. And yeah, as a sensitive person myself with a sensitive daughter, it was really, really beautiful to hear her insight.
Oh yeah, she's a gem. We love Elizabeth. Well, here is their website. It's a little bit of a complicated website, so I'm going to read it slowly. People can write it down. courses.derekloudermilk.com/quantum-kids-laboratory. Might be easiest for people to just take a screenshot.
And I put it in the chat too, Scott. So
Yeah. But for all of our friends who are watching on YouTube and Facebook,
gotcha.
yeah, just take a screenshot. That way you have a picture of Elizabeth April, and that way you can see the URL and definitely go explore what they're doing with the Quantum Kids Laboratory. Really exciting and just great work, you guys. And it's going to be fun to continue to watch as you all evolve.
Thanks so much for having us,
Scott.
Absolutely. Thanks for being with us. And stick around because we still have some really fun stuff happening. I just recently met our next guest. Her name is Karen Green. I'm going to bring her up in a moment. I'm part of something called the Consciousness Club. And it's a really fun group of people. They are the people putting on the event tomorrow that I'm promoting, the UAP Con. And I met Karen through the Consciousness Club and realized, oh, wow, she would be perfect for tonight's show because of what you're about to see that she has created. And so where are you, Karen? I'm trying to find you.
I'm right here. I'm right here.
There you are. Thank you so much. I think Omachar found you before I did. Hey, welcome. So good to have you with us.
Thank you. I am so happy to be here. I am just overwhelmed by, I feel like I've found my tribe for sure. I feel it's so nice to be with people who honor the resonance and the sacredness of kids' spirits.
It's true. And in a moment, we're going to see the beautiful work that you're doing. So let me tell people a little bit about you since this is your first time on the Awakening World. Karen is a tenured professor and director of the Mental Health, Social Services, and Addictions Counseling AAS program in Portland. And she was recently honored with a Distinguished Teaching Award for her impact in the classroom and her commitment to student learning. Over 25 years, she's been in the mental health field, and she brings clinical depth and real-world application to her work. Prior to her role in higher education, she spent 16 years as a school social worker, working closely with children, families, teachers, and administrators to support emotional well-being, behavior, and connection across school environments. So quite a history. But tonight she's here to share with us something very exciting. She is the founder of the Conscious Care Cards and the developer of the Conscious Care Attachment Framework. And rather than me reading it, this last paragraph, I'd rather you just explain it to our audience.
Yeah. So thank you so much again for having me. I really appreciate it. I am on a mission to help heal 1 million kids, and I believe I can do that by empowering caregivers to own their impact as their child's primary healer. And just like so many of the previous speakers spoke about, it is my deep, deep belief that children, if given the environment, the correct environment, not Omashar's experience, but the environment where people are holding reverence to kids' tender and open heart, then children can not only thrive, but we as caregivers can connect back to our pure and open being. The attachment framework has in it, it has a box of 72 conscious games that any caregiver could play with the child to really get down on their level, crawl on the floor, do art, play like they're animals, do things that really kind of create the limbic resonance that kids need, that really, like, the health of the we becomes that health of the inner me. And so the cards kind of talk about what an adult can do to really create that environment that not only is shining the light on the child's beauty in their heart, but also really invites the parent, the caregiver, the teacher, the principal, whoever it is, the nurse, to really connect to their own ability to be present, their own ability to connect and ground in, to create that presence between the two of the child and the adult. And in secure attachment and using the research of neuroscience, we really understand that it's that emotional companionship, that ability to mirror and hold space for a child that helps them feel seen and heard, that will help them open bigger and bigger to their brightest light. And so if we are brave enough as adults to brighten that light and really, we're not afraid of their feelings, we're not afraid of their abilities, we are instead want to celebrate what they have in their hearts. Even for 40 seconds, like, there's so much research around just 40 seconds of attuned presence and what that can do for the child and their development and the safety they're creating inside of themselves. So if you're really one of those adults for a child, whether you're an aunt, a grandma, a grandpa, even the bus driver, if you're a chosen person that a child's chosen you, how do you show up for those 40 seconds that really allows that child to feel attuned to? Because that's the healing. I, as a therapist, can have your child for 50 minutes a week, but it's the relationships, that the safe relationships with an adult that the child has chosen, whether it's their art teacher or it's their, the cafeteria person, or like sometimes it's somebody else in their life. And if that child feels it and has that resonance, that's secure attachment, and that belief in their own worthiness will allow those childs to reach their dreams in a way that isn't like impeding them or making them stuff themselves and their beautiful spirits into a box that we as fearful adults feel better about, right? It's like, how does this attachment framework make the adults feel brave enough to shine their light so that their child can shine the light back? So there's the box of 72 cards. There's also the 150-page Reparent the Parent journal, which really asks guiding questions like, what was your childhood like? What were your parents' attachment styles? And how is that showing up? And how is that blocking you from being the present parent you want to be? And no shame around that. But how do we break these generational patterns of trauma? Because every parent I've ever worked with didn't want to parent like they were parented, but then they didn't know how to redo that, or they didn't know how to show up in a way that was brave and open and courageous. And so then the third aspect of the conscious attachment framework is the group, the community. So we have a conscious care community with when parents can just get together and talk about mistakes, maybe talk about triggers and things that do trigger them and why they trigger them, and really seeing the trigger as an invitation for healing as opposed to a shame-based thing to isolate from. Instead, how can we bravely share it with each other so that we don't repeat the pattern, so that we can break the generational impact and we can create a more awakened world by starting with these children who are already perfect and present and alive. And it's us, it's the adults who are squishing them down and hurting them. And so I really believe that if we start with the adults, teaching them how to be present with themselves, teaching them what's going on inside of them that's making them project that fear onto that child's beautiful spirit, that's how we can actually break these generational patterns and really create securely attached children that know that they're worthy. So if they know they're worthy, they're going to choose a job that they can shine in. If they know they're worthy, they're not going to lean into addiction. If they know they're worthy, they're going to choose a partner that also shines and allows them to shine. They know what a respectful relationship looks like because the health of the we became the health of the inner me. So that's that.
Let's just take a breath, because what you're sharing is so profound and so important. And, you know, I just want to acknowledge the passion that you and all of our other presenters that we've seen tonight, you know, you all are so passionate about your work, and you all understand the incredible importance of treating children with the utmost respect and the utmost dignity. So thank you.
Yes.
I want to take people to your website, and I want us to learn a little bit about the conscious care cards. Now, the website for everybody watching on Facebook or YouTube, it's consciouscarecards.com. Of course, we've put it into the chat box, but consciouscarecards.com. And tell us about this little quiz that you're encouraging, or survey that you're encouraging us to take.
Yes, so I am asking, so these cards, ideally, they work with 4 to 11-year-olds. So that's like the magic secure attachment time. And I'm really wanting to use the research with my community around what is working, where are the blocks, what is keeping you as your child's primary person, what is keeping you from showing up? Because I do believe that it's not the children that need to be changed, it's the adults holding the space. And so what is the fear that are coming up when the child is sharing these emotions? And this emotional companionship, being really present with a child when they're having a large feeling, brings up, the adult, of course, has triggers around that, and or blocks, and or has an agenda to shut that down. And so I'm really asking, how can you slow down and not project that trigger? How can you take that trigger and go to the journal and write about it later? But what bravery and courage do you need to just be with the child right now? To reflect, to normalize, and to say, I'm right here. I don't need you to be different. I don't need your feeling to be different. I can be with you. We're in it together. Because that's when they start developing resilience inside.
Beautiful. Well, I'm going to go back to your website for a minute because it's really quite beautiful, and I want to take a look at the cards.
Yes.
So definitely, again, we're looking at consciouscarecards.com, and look at that beautiful pachyderm with the little mouse. Yay. And some of these cards are just really, really precious and beautiful. So the science behind it, she said before, a lot of understanding of neuroscience, And of course, all about creating trust and safety so that we know how to release our serotonin and our oxytocin and our dopamine and all of our nervous system regulation. And these cards are just beautiful. So they foster a lot of the qualities of emotional intelligence that we all need to learn how to cultivate. The studies have all shown now, Karen, that emotional intelligence is far more important than mental intelligence
Yes.
for success in life.
Yes.
And the major I'm in the Bay Area, all the major Bay Area companies in Silicon Valley, now when they are interviewing people, they're looking for emotional intelligence far more than mental intelligence.
Yes. And truly, the children just need a guide. They need an emotionally brave adult. And so whether that, they're in the journal, there are emotional intelligence tests, and you can figure out what your emotional intelligence score is as the adult, but that score isn't fixed.
Right.
You can grow in that as well. And Harvard is saying the happiness research is talking about the ability to have just one or two authentic relationships too. It's not quantity of relationships, it's the quality of relationships. I know you know that, Scott. But that is a skill you learn with your first relationship. So you learn what an authentic relationship is by having an adult hold you in that way, in a way that is like, I don't need you to be any different. I love who you are right now. You're gorgeous the way you are. And your spirit is your spirit, and it needs to be celebrated.
Well, I encourage everybody to go to the Conscious Care cards. Karen, thank you so much for the
Yes.
wonderful work you're doing. And I look forward to seeing you in the Consciousness Club,
Me too.
seeing
Thank
you
you.
hopefully on UAPCon tomorrow.
Yes.
Are you going to be able to be there?
I am, yes.
Great. I will see you there. And I see some of our friends from the Consciousness Club are here. And
Great.
there's some really wonderful comments coming into the chat box, so check those out.
Okay, I will. Thank you so much, Scott. I really
My
appreciate
pleasure.
it. It's been
Thank
fun.
you, Karen. Good to meet you. It's kind of an Oregon night, by the way. Karen is in Portland. Liz is in Ashland. And our final presenter for the evening is our very own Tiara, who's also just outside of Ashland, Oregon. And of course, we've seen Tiara talk about spiritual diversity in education. We've done entire shows on that with Tiara. And so when I knew that I was doing this program, I said, well, we need to have Tiara kind of wrap it all up for us to make sense of it and to add wisdom of what she's doing in the world. So I am honored to turn it over to our very own Tiara.
Thank you, Scott. Hello, everybody. I've got my alter ego as my name. Usually our alter egos are our spiritual names, but in this case, we're inverted in the best of ways. So I have my birth name, plus I have my ABCs. Karen, you inspired me with yours. And my ABCs, a master's in education, a master's in special ed, a certified clinical hypnotherapist, and also a certified spiritual counselor. They're just ways that I use to have validity to do what I was doing in the schools. And I do have my website to share. I'm finding I'm a little shy. I think I'm going to go to gallery view. So there we go. I started doing this work in the 1980s when I first started teaching. We had just had the harmonic convergence. Energy psychology was starting to come into play, which is basically the things that we're doing now. Only the world wasn't ready for that yet, and that got squashed. And in the 1990s, I started writing and created the Spiritual Diversity in Education program. Let me go ahead here and see if I can do this well. Okay, so there's so much here. So I too have a group for kids. It's cosmickids.earth, and doing a lot of the same things, teaching the kids the clairs, teaching the parents how to work with their kids. I've also, my teaching career, I spent 12 years working with gang members in the juvenile courts and community schools. And then I spent the rest of my 40-year career in special education and working with, gifted and talented, the whole spectrum. My thing is about whole person pedagogy, whole person education. And that's what I started doing with the spiritual diversity in education. This is a story here where I talk about a gal that I was helping in school. I've got a little writing here about what whole person teaching is. And then I've got a video here about why we need to teach spirituality in our schools. Because I found that there were the kids that we've been speaking about, all evening, and no one was teaching to them. No one was helping them see their gifts and that type of thing. Let's see. So I do have some stories for us, and let's see. Okay. So I don't often share a lot about myself, so I'm just going to do this really quickly. I'm currently getting a PhD in integrated health and wellness, bringing together everything that we're talking about, everything that we're learning, because my mission is to bring this into the public schools. It always hurts me a bit when, I hear the experiences like Omashar you had, and so many of us had, because I've devoted my, entire adult life in education, and I know it's true. And a lot of the times when I'm doing my spiritual diversity workshop, one of the things that comes up is the wounding that the teachers have had too. So we definitely address that. Also, bringing in integrative health and wellness is restorative practices, restorative justice. Also, interfaith. The cover story for the spiritual diversity is how do we teach the kids to talk to each other about their different beliefs, and then creating space to go deeper to talk about the kind of things that we've been discussing tonight. When I'm working with the kids, I use shamanic astrology. That's what the SAMS is. I like to do the astrology chart for the kids and the parents to take a look at who they are, where their sun is, where their moon is, and how those dynamics make up part of their personality. And I share this with the other teachers as well. And then, of course, in education, we have socio-emotional learning, and those are all school acronyms there. In the spiritual diversity, what I said, and I don't even remember saying this, someone wrote it down and gave it to me. They said, you've got to have this in quotes. But I said, the spiritual nature of a human being is by far the most invisible part of the whole. And to have an educational system where everyone is truly seen and every voice heard, we must include this topic of spiritual diversity. Because in the schools, we teach the physical, we teach the mental. Thank goodness we started to teach the emotional. And now it's time to deepen spiritual understanding that is fully inclusive. So I talk about that here. And when I was playing with this today, and there's more, Scott would say, and yet there's more. So multimodality, making sure that all abilities are accounted for. And, as we all know, the smallest touch is often cause for the largest change. And I'm almost done with this. With World Bridger, you know, I was thinking, Scott, with your birthday on Christmas and mine on Halloween, during one of our astrology shows, it turns out that on the Mayan calendar, both of us came in on white spectral World Bridger Day. And so part of my mission has been to, over the past, 40 years in education, hold the institution and everyone inside of it while the system was collapsing, as it's meant to. And so we have these beautiful alternative education programs. We have, a movement for homeschool. At first, it was charters that came through, and yet there are thousands and thousands and thousands of kids still in the public schools that need this information, that need this support, and the teachers as well. So I look at that as being a world bridger. And I'll tell a couple quick stories. So when the bizarre becomes normal, the normal becomes bizarre. So my students used to say, "Oh, Teacher Debbie, you're so weird. You're so weird," because, I was talking our talk back when it wasn't talked. And I always made a promise that I would believe my students. I would believe what they said. So, I take my hurt feelings and I go home and I grab my dictionary, which was the classroom Bible. And I looked up weird, and it means of or pertaining to the bizarre or abnormal. And I went, they're right. I went back the next day and said, "You guys are right. I'm absolutely weird. And here's the definition." But what you need to realize is that when the normal becomes bizarre, the bizarre becomes normal. When the bizarre becomes normal, the normal becomes bizarre. That was 1998, and here we are living it now in 2026. Another thing that's coming up, I am writing a curriculum for all ages. It's Conscious Education for Empowered Lives, a curriculum for all ages that teaches a lot of the things that we're all talking about and brings it in a way that can be used in any school situation. And that I've got a poem down here you guys can read later if you want to, just about being a lifelong learner. And I think that's all I have on my website here. So I'll stop share for a minute and then maybe tell a quick story before we go into our prayer time and our final Omashar song, if that's okay, Scott.
Would love to hear your story.
Okay. So let's see. Looking at my notes, I think I got most of that there. So using my own gifts and sharing who I am and was and empowering myself to show up that way was the first step. And then I started sharing that with the kids. So here's an example. I've got a kid in my classroom. We're working, we're trying to, get his credits up so he can graduate. We've got a stack of books that we just finished working with. And I said, hey, in my mind, I go, "Johnny, can you take these back to the library for me?" And as I turn to speak out loud to him, he turns to me and he goes, "No, you do it." And I'm like, "What?" And I said, did you just hear what I said in my mind? And he goes, "Yes." And I went, "Oh, now I know who you are. Now I know who you are." And he burst out laughing, and it became such a wonderful thing. And then telling his mom. Okay, so his mom was another educator in the system, in the district. And I said, "This is what happened today." And I told her the story, and she said, "Deb, this all makes sense now." She goes, "When he was 5, we were walking hand in hand down the street, and all of a sudden he stopped in his tracks and he goes, 'Mom, my life just flashed before my eyes.'" And she didn't know what to do with that. So I started teaching her about the clairs, claircognizance, clairvoyance, clairaudition, all those things. And she was struggling so hard to get him through the school system that it was damaging their relationship. And I said, "Look, school's going to come and school's going to go." And here I am, a professional educator responsible for all of that. I said, but your relationship with him is the most important thing. And your job as a parent is to help your child through the linear school system when they are not a linear being. And I know that's exactly what all of our other presenters are doing as well. So that was a great story. And the last story I'll tell for tonight, for time, has to do with working with kids who are nonverbal and using our own telepathy, our own remote viewing to help work with them. So in this particular school, I had a bunch of paraeducators working for me. Some of them were assigned to their students one-on-one. And I just walked by one of the kids as I was walking out, and his para was next to him. And I walked by and I went, he's thirsty. And I turned to the aide and I said, he's thirsty, he needs a drink. And the aide's like, no, he's not. I just gave him one. And I took a breath like that and I said, no, he's thirsty, he needs a drink. And the aide said again, no. And I stopped again and I said, yes, you need to go get him a drink. So then I went into my authority mode, and sure enough, he went and got him a drink, and the kid just drank and drank and drank and drank. And so then I started teaching the other teachers and other adults about telepathy and intuition and all these things. And yeah, they would make fun of me. They'd be like, yeah, let's ask Deb a question. And hold on, there she goes, and she'll go going up for the answer and then come back down. So the message is, like my website says, you are you, be yourself. Be courageous in sharing these gifts that we get to share with each other here in this beautiful sanctuary. And, I'm looking forward to working with the state of Oregon. I was able to bring the spiritual diversity and education into the schools as professional development training for teachers, like literally listed on the site for credits and things. And so I'm looking forward to bringing that into the state here and then see what happens next. So
beautiful. There's so many comments that have come in. I'm just going to read a couple of them. And then before we do prayer time, I'm actually going to share a little bit of what Reverend Jeffrey has turned us on to. But Dorina Joy, our friend from Ecuador, writes, I'm so inspired by all of these amazing sharings. There's no age limits for telepathy, blindfold sensing, reading, and so many other so-called paranormal abilities. Why not learn them now? Children and adults, and even our pets. Absolutely. And Scotty Satori writes, so awesome of you, Diara. Kath Thomas says, Diara, you are so brilliant. I want to take your classes. I'm so in love with you so much. Christy Michaels writes, great job, Deborah. Bonnie Russell writes, wow, Diara, I'm so impressed with your wisdom as an educator and dealing with the parent as well as the student. Tracy Powder points out that weird takes us to wired, electrical, right? And she says, beautiful sharing, Deb. Karen Green writes, beautiful work, Deborah. George Noble writes, that's a great name for you, Weird Debbie. And Tracy brings out Weird is also in the Three Fates from Scottish lore. And finally, Susan Bloomquist writes, magnificent Diara. I'm so proud to know you. What a career and warrior for children all these years. So take a breath for a few moments and we'll come back to you for prayer time. We don't have much because we're already way over and I haven't had dinner, but I did want to show this that our beloved Reverend Jeffrey Colebrook pointed out. So this is another innovative education program called coherenceeducation.org. Coherenceeducation.org. And Jeffrey, if you want to just share for a minute or two about it, tell us what we're looking at.
Well, basically, Andrew Freeman taught unified physics at the Resonance Science Foundation for kids. I actually took his kids course, and it was absolutely amazing to see what these kids could comprehend when they were in this kind of an environment. It blew me away, just like everything tonight. I've got what these folks are doing, it just blows me away, and I'm so excited that this is happening. Maybe they can do some work here together. That's why I wanted to, when I saw what the topic was, I wanted to let you know what this was going on. It's accredited program, and Andrew Freeman, of course, came apart through understanding all the new models of physics and has created this amazing program. So there's the site. Check it out. Maybe and people can work together. But he's doing an amazing job. And thank you for letting me share that site. And thank you, Scott. I put it in the chat, and people can check it out themselves.
Great. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. I always appreciate everything that you bring to the awakening world, including those great dance moves of yours. Okay, I'm going to turn it back over as she changes caps from educator to our prayer mistress. Here again is Tiara.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, everyone. So first, I want to bless all of us in the Zoom room and all those listening to our show, sending that love and light out to all our families, all our communities. And I'm sending this up to the children who are yet to come in, and to all the galactic families, and letting them hear and see what we are doing, what we are holding space for. And then bringing up again all the children, the education systems here on the planet. May we pray for the systems as they rightfully begin to crumble and shift. This time has been prophesized. Anything not built in integrity shall fall. And we are here to help hold the space while all the shift takes place. Blessings to all those in the school systems near and far. And I'm seeing the school systems all around our beautiful globe, so many different fractals, so many different ways. And may we come together as a collective, an international collective, to share the wisdom and the brilliance that's creating the magic and the safety for our kids. Blessings to the parents. Blessings to the parents. Blessings to the parents. And we ask that hearts remain open. We ask that money continue to flow. And we ask that this hope that we've co-created tonight, that we know is true, spread out into all those dark areas needing the light. Sending more blessings out into our tribe for physical healing, mental, emotional, spiritual healing that we all need, blessing our own inner children. And of course, our pets. All the flora and fauna, everyone's wanting to be included. And the stars and the sun, and back down to our earth, and so it is.
Thank you. I'm also going to bring Piper Dellums up because Piper has a special prayer as well. Piper, you are on camera.
Hi, thank you guys so much. This has been extraordinary. I turned my camera off a little bit so that my dog can jump on me, but thank you so much. I do have special prayer requests for my students. I only have 4 more weeks there. The school doesn't really have funding to continue with unique programs, but my students are dealing with some extraordinary issues, and that includes the 2 angels that you met this evening. Parents that are DACA are now being almost forced out of the country. We have a lot of my students who are fearing deportation of their parents. Alexi being one of them. Her mother did call right after we ended our conversation. She was crying and thanking all of you and asking for prayer for this situation. Also, we have a number of parents who are incarcerated. A lot of my students have been removed from their homes because of neglect and abuse. I have students that are homeless. It's an inner city, very impoverished a community with lack of funding and support. But I know that we have the ability to shift a lot of what's happening in their lives, planting these seeds of hope and inspiration and artistic integrity, but also through our prayer and the energy that we send as a family. So I do ask that over my students, and I ask it over 135 of my 6th, 7th, and 8th graders who are really going through some incredibly intense times. We just had 2 suicides at the school of 7th and 8th graders, and a couple of parents that were killed in gang violence. So yeah, these kids are forgotten and pushed aside. But here we are, reminding them that they are powerful and perfect and able. So thank you for that.
Adrena Joy is asking you, Piper, how can we support them? Can we buy books besides our prayers? Is there a way we can support?
Oh, I'm certain that there are. My dear friends were asking the same thing when I was trying to get art supplies. I just sort of, did it all myself. But yes, let's be in touch about that. These students, we've had to provide coats when it was cold. They don't have pencils. Clothing is provided.
Piper, let's start a GoFundMe for your kids. Let's start a GoFundMe for your kids, okay? I've started GoFundMe for you in the past. I've done one for Scotty. Let's start one for your kids. Let's you and I talk about it, and we'll get that going.
Okay. For Lexi and Kylie would be amazing.
Absolutely. Bonnie Russell, I'm noticing you have your hand up. Do you want to speak? I need. Hi.
No, I'm fine.
Oh, okay. You had your electronic hand up. Sorry. All right. Well, while you're here, we love Bonnie. Lots and lots of love to Bonnie. All right. All right. Whoops. There we go. There we go. Remove spotlight. Piper, thank you. Beautiful work today. Thank you. Well, what a show. What a show. A reminder, everybody, please do come to UAPCon tomorrow. I hope to see you all there. Please do fill out the little questionnaire at lovecoachacademy.com. And please do support our beloved Scotty Satori. And to close out what's been a really wonderful, wonderful show, I'm going to turn it over to my co-host, my partner in joy, our beloved Omashar.
I've changed like a butterfly. It's something very new. I'm feeling so alive, and yes, it's true. Nothing is the same. I'm bigger than before, and yet I know that I am still a child without a care in this new world, and so connected to you. An innocent new life, a heart so true. A dream that seems so far away is living here in me, freeing all the pain that paved the way. There's nothing in the past has opened up the door, and now I know that I am still a child without a care in this new world, and so connected to you. An innocent new life, a heart so true. La 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 dum, ba la la la. is beating once again. I'm feeling so secure, and yet I know that nothing's like before. My mind is now at peace, no need to know the way. And yes, I'm glad that I am still a child without a care in this new world, and so connected to you. An innocent new life, a heart so true. I'm still a child without a care in this new world, and so connected to you. I'm innocent and deep and pure and true. Da, 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 dum, ba, dum, da, the miracle of love has opened up that door.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, Omashar, and our wonderful dance team. I love watching our couple, Pam and Liv, dancing away. Isn't that the sweetest?
It is the sweetest.
Yeah, yeah.
And there was also, I think, Connie and Andrew are dancing. They're doing some kind of waltz.
Oh, I love the honeymooners. I call them our honeymoon couple. Thank you, Omashar. Beautiful music as always. Thank you so much. Well, it's been quite a show. Remember that tomorrow it'll be up on our YouTube channel. I also send the recordings out to those of you in the Zoom room because you're all subscribers. Share these shows with people. Who do you know that wants to feel inspired about education? Show them this show. That's how we grow. Want to let you know what we've got coming up on Wednesday. It's actually interesting given the topic and what came up tonight. This is kind of the flip side of it. The vulnerability of psychic powers is going to be our topic on Wednesday night. And all three people, Karina, Bridget, and Hannah, had extreme psychic abilities at a very early age. And it's been a challenge. It's been a challenge as children, been a challenge as adults. So it's kind of funny. Both these shows kind of evolved very recently, quickly. I hadn't planned to do them back to back, but it's kind of funny how those things go, isn't it? So anyway, please do join us on Wednesday. I know that many of you will be able to relate because I think the majority of people watching this show, that whether you're in our Zoom room or on Facebook or YouTube, you're still learning how to work with your psychic abilities or your what makes you weird. I think we're all weird. I'll close out with a wonderful story about my father. I was blessed. I had a wonderful father. He was very, very wise and very funny. And when I was, I think around 15 or 16, puts his arm around me. He goes, son, I don't know if you've discovered yet, but the truth is everyone in the world is crazy except for you and me. And frankly, son, as you're getting older, I'm wondering more and more about you. And that was my classic dad's humor. And the truth is we're all weird. We're all crazy. We all have whatever it is, we're all unique, strange creatures from different worlds, different planets. And so let's celebrate that. I think it was one of our children today who, wrote, that beautiful girl who works with Piper, about not changing herself, loving the color of her skin, not changing herself just because somebody else has a problem with it. out of the mouth of babes. Thank you, Diara. Thank you, Piper. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Zinka. Thank you, Liz and Derek and Joya and Jerry Anderson and Omashar and everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Tomorrow is Sunday. Make it sacred by seeing the divine